The judge said that Brandy Sturdivant's children were failed by every adult they came in contact with. Under the plea agreement, Sturdivant will be serving up to 36 years in prison in 2 consecutive terms for the murder and child abuse charges. State auditor said that there are at least 6 former North Carolina A&T employees that were in those upper leadership circles that are accused of improperly handling financial aid money and giving it to people that they know. Imagine opening your mailbox and finding a water bill totaling more than $30,000. Police in bulletproof vests, fake blood, and sirens everywhere. Those are just some of the pieces of what make up a mass casualty event. But in reality, the video we're about to show you is a simulation of what happens when first responders run into the worst case scenario. Summer of soccer, or as some like to call it, football. Coming up, we'll share how the World Cup is inspiring the next generation of athletes right here in the Triad. Lindsay, today marked the first day of class for North Forsyth students after their classmate, 16-year-old Cameron Graham, was killed in a stabbing on campus on Tuesday. The district attorney says that it was accidental and that no charges will be filed. There's been an outpouring of support for these students who are still navigating exactly what it means to be Viking strong. Filling up your tank might mean shelling out a little bit more from your wallet, but people here in the Triad say that no matter what it costs, they still need to drive, and they'll pay what they need to. Today, I spoke with one former NASA engineer here in Greensboro who says she is ready for liftoff. She says that this is such a monumental occasion, not just for her, but for anyone who is interested in space and science. I'm standing outside of the old courthouse in Greensboro here with the Director of Elections for Guilford County, Charlie Collicutt. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Can you tell me a little bit about what the turnout has looked like today on this March primary day?
In tonight's 12 Investigates, a Greensboro apartment complex is shut down and evacuated by the city due to code compliance problems. We've learned 181 units were occupied earlier this week, and for some residents, first notice didn't come from management. Some of them didn't find out until law enforcement showed up. WXI 12 Serra Sowers joins us now with what happened and what residents are facing next. Sarah.
Christine, this is the district at West Market Street. It's a studio dorm style apartment complex that has been condemned by the city of Greensboro. The assistant city manager tells me that there were major electrical issues that made it unsafe for residents who are concerned about the short notice that they have to evacuate.
Just a text message, no email, they didn't call anybody, no like emergency text message, just like, hey, yeah, the building's being shut down.
Elijah Edwards has lived at the district for 2 years, and the only way he found out about the building's closure was because of a text message from the management company, Pfaltzgraff Communities. He said this isn't the first time there have been problems.
Honestly, there's been a lot of nonsense that's gone on in the 2 years that I've lived here.
According to the city, inspectors stepped in after residents complained they'd been without heat and electricity for nearly a week.
The electrical system was in complete failure, was not able to be repaired. It was actually burning. There was a fire that had occurred, and so the building had to be evacuated and condemned.
Assistant City Manager Andrea Harrell told 12 Investigates a fire inspection was done on Monday, noting faulty electrical wiring and limited HVAC. On Tuesday, the city and fire marshal went for re-inspection, and that's when the decision was made by the city to evacuate the building for the safety of the residents.
Property management was on scene. They were not very cooperative with the inspection that needed to take place. They ultimately left the property. By around 9:30 in the morning, there was not a single employee of that apartment complex at the site. At 3 o'clock, about 30 to 40 police officers and fire employees were on scene to actually knock on doors and let people know you have to be out. That was some people's first notification that the building had been condemned.
Edwards was at work when the evacuation happened, leaving him unable to return in time to retrieve his belongings, including his cat, Tree Trunks. I'm told animal control removed 15 cats and dogs from the property. Fortunately, Elijah reunited with Tree Trunks at the complex for the first time Wednesday. Relief amid an uncertain situation.
I gotta find somewhere else to live right now because it's not looking like this building's gonna open back up.
But we want to begin with Serra Sowers. She joins us live outside police headquarters with new details about the timeline of all this.
Sarah, you looked at the dispatch log. What did you learn from that?
Lindsay, Kenny, yes, what we learned from 911 dispatch is that there's one significant takeaway. Law enforcement was able to paint a pretty clear picture of what was happening in Leinbach Park as it was happening in those moments.
3511 Sally Kirk Road, Leinbach Park. Call advice check for a large group of juveniles fighting.
This Winston-Salem Police Dispatch audio log from Broadcastify paints a bigger picture of what law enforcement came across in Leinbach Park on Monday morning. Just minutes before 10 a.m., another call comes in to dispatch.
Being advised shots have been fired, and they advise if anyone's injured, and then advise subjects are injured for additional caller.
1 minute later, more gunshots.
We have one caller advising here, 15 shots fired.
Just 4 minutes after that, the fire department and Winston-Salem police start announcing their arrival to the scene.
Just confirming Jefferson Middle has been placed on lockdown.
10-4.
It has.
As nearby campuses were placed on a secure hold, law enforcement continued to close down streets nearby and try to figure out what led to the shooting.
We'll shut down the entire road. Let's maintain our spots so we can get EMS and fire in and out, so we can get everybody in and out.
Someone at the scene can be heard talking about how the shooting started as a fight, which investigators later confirmed. Dispatchers were sending ambulances, and those on scene were identifying more victims, in addition to the 2 teens who were pronounced dead.
I'm not sure if you're aware, we do have 5 gunshot victims. 5.
That dispatch audio then ends, but it's also revealed later on that Robin Hood Road was shut down between Chatillon and Polo, which helped the law enforcement officers really contain that scene. At this point, we still don't know how many weapons were used during that fight and shooting. Reporting live in Winston-Salem, Serra Sowers, WXII 12 News.